Hello everyone, I'm Philemon and I'm teaming up with Madam Stephenie Omila Ujan Roy. So we are going to present on our conceptual paper entitled Integrating New Pedagogies for Deep Learning (NPDL) to Teach HOTS in the Malaysian ESL Classroom. So before both of us start to present on our conceptual paper, let us watch the video to sum everything that will be presented later.
New Pedagogies for Deep Learning was a social movement, started by Michael Fullen and his team in 2003. Participated by the OECD's countries such as Australia, Finland, and Netherlands, we are part of this social movement to attain quality education in our country. Unconsciously, this boy had utilized his critical and creative thinking to solve his problem, to reach for the banana on that tree. Well, luckily, he did not hurt himself while stepping on the bunch of sticks, which was a risk taken to solve his problem in this situation. Living in a world with vast resource availability, the boy had sourced for information, linking with his prior experiences to express his unimaginable creativity. With curiosity as a theme in his life, he shared his ideas through communication and collaboration with others in the world. To present himself perfectly to the world, he needs to have a set of character to be able to communicate and collaborate effectively with the global citizens. Critical thinking and creative thinking had made him to be innovative, and later would provide solutions to the problems of the world. To save the Earth, he had came to a solution that we need to live in a tree in order to save human from extinction. Critical thinking and creative thinking are the tools to be equipped by the new generations to overcome and survive the challenges of the Fourth Industrial Revolution. As reflected in the 2018 PISA result in reading, solutions need to be provided to improve the higher order thinking skills among the learners in our country. With the rapid immersion of the Fourth Industrial Revolution, new implementations are needed in Education 4.0 to adapt with new challenges in teaching. Translanguage approach in teaching English language may optimize the learner's way of thinking by promoting bilingualism in the classroom. The pupils may express their ideas in their dominant language and later, improve accuracy in the language by collaborating with their peers, and their teachers will act as a coach and mentor in their learning. As being said by Garcia in her lecture, you can't make a drummer playing with his full potential by letting him playing with only one stick. The 6-step cycle of creativity, which are understanding the question, convergent thinking, divergent thinking, detached thinking, stop thinking and sleeping, as reflected by Ritter et al. In their study, these 6 steps had successfully enabling their participants to transfer their creative thinking skills. The introduction of gamification elements might help to motivate the learners in teaching and learning activities. As being reported in the OECD 1.3 2018, learners' engagement in the classroom needs improvement. The promotion of these pedagogies might help the learners in the country to be aware of the existing problem that were experienced by Mother Earth. Oh, you forgot your mask, dear.
I would like to explain further on our background of study. 21st century learning certainly demands a new way of teaching in a classroom to inculcate critical and creative thinking skills, which is also known as CCTS. And due to the rapid growth of robots taking available occupations in the future, 65% of primary school students today will be employed in jobs that currently do not exist. So it is So it is important for teachers to equip the pupils with critical, innovative, imaginative and creative thinking skills to overcome the fourth industrial revolution. Back in 2012, Ministry of Education also launched I Think program to help the teachers to promote HOTS among the students. Not only that, our Ministry of Education also initiated Penggerak Pembelajaran Bermakna, or also known as Deep Learning, founded by Michael Fullen in TS25 program during 2017 in Module 7. However, very few teachers are aware of this social movement as it is still new. So this concept paper is going to discuss the pedagogical approaches in NPDL and its impact to enhance our pupils' creative thinking skills and critical thinking skills in the Malaysian ESL classroom. These are the issues that had motivated us to write this concept paper. First, Malaysian PISA score in reading literacy year 2018 is still below average. Secondly, past studies reveal that teachers are incompetent in integrating HOTS in their teaching and learning, where some find it troublesome and some are still implementing traditional methods of teaching. There are two objectives of our concept paper, which is to discuss the pedagogical approaches in integrating NPDL in the Malaysian ESL classroom and to discuss the impacts of NPDL in the Malaysian primary ESL classroom. So, by achieving these objectives, our concept paper aims to answer these questions. Number one, what are the pedagogical approaches that can be applied to integrate NPDL in the ESL classroom? And the second one is, what are the impacts of NPDL in the Malaysian ESL classroom?
There will be four main factors why this study should be done in Malaysian primary ESL classroom setting. The first would be to address the existing issues on pedagogy to teach HOTS in ESL classroom. Then, in tandem with Fullen 2021, the learner's well-being needed to be considered in promoting NPDL in the classroom. The crucial part would be to be able to promote creative and critical thinking skills among the learners in tandem with the third wave of the Malaysian education blueprint. Lastly, to nurture critical and creative thinking skills, part of the 6 global competencies as proposed by Fullen and Joanne Quinn in their book New Pedagogies for Deep Learning. New pedagogies for deep learning has taken its place in the country in 2017 by starting to implement it in TS25 schools, Transformation 2025 schools, where it was called as Penggerak Pembelajaran Bermakna in the 7th module of the TS25 program. However, the success of this implementation was not reflected in the PISA 2018 result. In a paper called The Right Driver for the Right System, Fullen had suggested 4 human paradigms where well-being and the learners was one of the paradigms to replace academic obsession, later called as the bloodless paradigm. With the COVID-19 pandemic education setting and the recent announcement of the abolishment of the UPSR examination, this would be the right time to teach higher order thinking skills in ESL classroom by taking the learner's well-being into account. The learners need critical thinking skills to be able to provide better solutions to a problem in different views, angles, and judgment. They would provide evidences through reflecting and analyzing their thinking, which will lead to innovation to benefit the world and the country. Trans-language approach would be suitable to teach HOTS in the ESL classroom, where it may help the learners to give ideas and opinions comfortably without thinking of the accuracy of the targeted language. Digital technology, peers, and teachers may assist the learners to translate their ideas and opinions as intended by the learners in English language. Creative thinking is a thinking process which allows the learners to create new solutions based on reasons that had been given. This is according to Madhya 2017. In Madhya 2017, risk would be taken by the learners in giving opinions and ideas to provide solution to a particular problem. Safe learning environment would further encourage the learners to explore the ability that they have in providing solutions to problems using creative ideas. According to Ritter et al. 2020, to be able to think creatively, the learners need to utilize their cognitive ability and their cognitive approaches by utilizing their working memory and their ability to categorize and manipulate objects to create new things. In a one-year creativity program, which participated by university students, Ritter et al. Had found that it had successfully enabling the students to transfer creative thinking skills in using the 6-step cycle of creativity, which were understanding the question, convergent thinking, divergent thinking, detached thinking, stop thinking, and sleeping. This 6-step cycle may be implemented in ESL HOTS lesson to help them to provide better solution to solve problems. According to Manzano-Leon et al. 2021, gamification is a process to increase the learner's intrinsic and extrinsic motivation by taking the learner's autonomy, the extent to which an action carried out by an individual comes from their own interests, competence, the feeling of ability and of executing a task to a certain level, and relatedness with others, which is the feeling of ability and of executing a task to a certain level. The promotion of gamification techniques in project-based learning or problem-based learning may engage the learners in HOTS ESL activity.
So one of the impacts of integrating NPDL in the ESL classroom is that it can encourage the students to think of real relevant issues to them and the world, and they must think critically and creatively to solve these issues. And also, ESL learners are expected to have higher order thinking skills because it helps them to accomplish reading comprehension tasks and open their minds towards current issues in the world, which could help the teachers to improve the score in PISA, especially in reading literacy. It also can encourage the inquisitive attitude among the students. So this is one of the examples of deep learning in real life, where an innovative and creative Dutch designer created a 7-meter tower known as Smoke-Free Tower as an air purifier to help with air pollution. So his objective is to create a breathable cities, and it was further employed to several cities in China, Netherlands, Poland, and South Korea. So we need more innovative and creative people like him, especially in Malaysia. Not only that, deep learning also promotes learners' autonomy through personalization and ownership of their own learning, which allows the students to be responsible of their own learning. Through deep learning, students are able to think critically and develop deep understanding and contemplate further into practical problems and allow pupils to transfer the learned knowledge to be applied into practice. And it also allows pupils to be versatile on their own learning, as it emphasizes on the main concept, and it allows pupils to transfer what have been learned as flexible as they could. So there are few implications of integrating NPDL to teach HOTS in the ESL classroom. One of it is to reculture learning process. For deep learning to occur in the classroom, the curriculum should not be isolated and structured. So the policymakers and educational practitioners should produce a curriculum that maximizes the construction and integration of knowledge of the students during the learning and teaching process. So next is to reimagine our assessment of learning. So teachers should incorporate a higher level of HOTS questions to further stimulate students' critical and creative thinking in comprehension questions. However, there are few limitations in integrating NPDL in the Malaysian ESL classroom. First is time constraint. Teachers are unable to incorporate deep learning due to time constraint, because in order for deep learning to occur, teachers have to take pupils' differences such as their interests, prior cultural knowledge, intelligence, social and economic differences into account. Not only that, most teachers are overwhelmed due to curriculum content overload, and therefore they are rushing to finish the syllabus, especially for exam students. Next, we need to rethink of our assessment settings. Pupils are mostly assessed within stipulated time, and it might not be enough to assess and value deep learning throughout their learning. So teachers should consider to involve more project-based learning and give sufficient time for students to incorporate critical and creative thinking skills in completing the task given. So further research can be done to investigate the effectiveness of digital-based learning using commercial off-the-shelf game to promote HOTS in ESL classroom and other issues pertaining to the 21st century HOTS teaching and learning activities.
New pedagogies for deep learning may provide quality education to the learners. By having these new deep pedagogies for learning, the learner's well-being may be taken into consideration in ESL higher order thinking skills, teaching and learning activities. So that's all from us. Thank you very much.